In this video, we are going to work on this detail here, the one that is the section at the column. It won't have nearly as many notes and components and detail as the wall section. So this shouldn't take quite as long. Some of the things that we're going to do are bringing that welded wire mesh across and adding the reinforcing that appears in the waffle slab. Same thing goes for the bottom. We'll pull across the gravel and the vapor barrier and the welded wire reinforcing that's in the slab. We'll also show the pier beyond. It's already drawn, but it's hidden behind the topography, so we'll make that into a hidden line. There will be maybe a few notes, but not many for this one. So I'm going to go to the section at the column. Actually, before I do that, let's go to the wall section here. And maybe we'll try to copy a few elements from this view and see if we can just bring them right over. I'm holding down the Control key. Control C, and we'll try to move that over to this other detail, Control V. Okay. So they may be here, but they're hidden behind. I'm going to try to paste them into the detail right here. Okay. There they are. Now I can move them into place. That will save me a little bit of time. I'm going to go back to the wall section and just check some dimensions to make sure that I'm placing them in the same positions. So this one let me measure that again. Snap overrides perpendicular. I put them that 2 inches above here, and we can check this as well. I think it's the same, 2 inches. Yeah. And I will check my welded wire reinforcing down there. That's also going to be 2 inches. Okay, so now I'll go back to the section at the column and I'll move these into place. So let's see here. Maybe I can do them all at the same time. If not, I'll come back and pick them up individually. Okay. Move from endpoint, snap overrides to perpendicular. And then I'll move them again 2 inches up. Okay, now I should be able to sort of stretch these past the crop lines. Going up to the top here, now we repeat that process. Reinforcing. Move. Moving them to column. For some reason, my member here is not centered, so I'll have to kind of figure out what the problem is with that one. See if I can move it from here. I'll have to unpin it and work on that. Okay. Let's see, let's measure between the two. Let me pick a center. So I'll just move them over 1 inch so they'll be centered on the column line. And I'll come back to that business about centering the actual structural member properly. Okay. Next thing that we're going to do is reveal some lines that are hidden. Okay, we have a pier that's coming down below this column, and we want to see that as a hidden line. So the steps for this are a little bit complicated, but once you get the hang of it, hopefully will go quickly. First thing I'm going to do is go to a wireframe view. Okay, so now I can see everything. So that's what I'm going to show, but I don't want it to be a continuous line. I want it to be a hidden line. So the process is this, that you go to the View tab and under the Graphics panel, Show Hidden Lines. So I'll start off with the, see if I can tab through and select the topography. I think that's the topography, yes. You pick that first, and then second, pick the element that will show. So I can select this pier, okay? And then when I go to the hidden view, I can see that it's now visible. Now, as you can see, I need to go through the process of revealing those hidden lines behind the gravel fill and also the slab, and I'm also going to reveal the footing. So I'll go through that process again. I'm going to go back to the wireframe mode. I'm going to show the hidden lines. I'm going to hit tab until I hit select. Okay. I'm not sure what it picked, so let me repeat that. Show hidden lines, and I need to, okay, detail lines, that's what it's found. If I hit tab again, let's try. It's a little bit of a challenge to pick. Let's try the detail lines first, and I'll reveal this. Okay, so I'm kind of going a little bit out of sequence, but okay, so now you can see it's going through the gravel. I'll just finish this one, and then I'll figure out how to select that topography in a moment. But let's see here, view, show hidden lines. Let's go back to the wireframe first. Okay, view, show hidden lines. I'm going to select the concrete. Now I'm going to select the pier. And then when I go back to hidden line, I should see that those lines pull through. So in order to do, to pick this footing, if I had done this first before I had brought the gravel in, it would have been a lot easier to do. It's not letting me select the topography. So what I'm going to do first is click on that gravel layer, hide that element in the view, and then I'll turn it back on. All right, so I'm still here in wireframe, and I'm going to go to show hidden lines again and see if I can tab there. There's the topography. No, that's not the topography. Hidden line, concrete slab, topography. There we go. Like I said, a little tricky to grab that. And then I'm going to pick the footing down here. Okay, now when I go to the hidden lines, they should appear. And then in order to turn back on the gravel, I'm going to reveal hidden elements by clicking on that little light bulb, select that and unhide element in view. And then I'll deselect that light bulb. Okay, so now I can see that those hidden lines are coming all the way down the pier. Okay, now for this detail, I suppose we could have cut the section through the column itself, but I think enough information can be shown from the exterior of this particular view. So the other thing that I'm going to show is the concrete block behind the drywall. So this line up here is going to pull through, but as a hidden line. So I'll repeat the same process. I'm going to go to wireframe, and then I'm going to go to show hidden lines. I'll pick that drywall bird wall. And then for my second pick line, I'll have to do this maybe in 2 phases. I just picked the line on the right, and now I'm going to go to hidden line. So you can see that line now appears. Go back to wireframe and repeat the process, show hidden lines, pick that front furred wall. For the second pick, I'm going to select the edge of the concrete block. And now when I go back to hidden line, I see both of them. Okay. So as I had mentioned before, this structural member is not centered on that grid line, and it should be. So what I'm going to do is pick it. I'm going to unpin it, and I should be able to resolve this. If I click on the dimension and change it to 0 inches, it will recenter. So you can check your reflected ceiling plan detail and, make sure everything is kind of located where it should be. For these two, I'm going to make some more copies. Let me check. Well, I can't remember what was the spacing for those. It was 3 feet. So I'm going to control, copy, 36 inches. That one looks like it's off too. And then this group, I'm going to move over 72 inches. Yeah, it looks like all of mine are just slightly off. I wonder if they're the 3/8 of an inch. So I'll click on that and change these all to more rational number. And 375 inches. And you can repin them so they don't move around. I see. Okay. I have a feeling that I'm going to need to leave them unpinned because you can see when I repinned them, they went back to their original position. So I don't think that will cause any problems, but if it does, we will address that later. Okay. So I think we're ready to add a few notes to this one. I think if there's any additional things I should add, I probably need to have a medium line that represents the membrane. So I'll just add that to the section. I'm going to go to annotate detail line, just so there's a little bit more heaviness to, let's see here. Let's do snap overrides nearest. And I'll just go to that far edge. If we have to extend it, we can. And let's see here. We'll go to an end point, perhaps. Let me repeat that. Something did not go as it was supposed to. Nearest. Nav overrides endpoint. And I'll also go to a nearest point. Get it as far over there as I can. Okay, so it should print just a little bit heavier. Okay, now we're ready to add the notes. I'm going to make a guideline for myself for my text. Roughly there. And I'll begin adding some notes for the text. Again, it's the same 3/32 of an inch. And this one is going to say in all caps, gypsum wallboard column enclosure. And I'll stretch this so it is within my cropped region here. And then I will add a leader and point to that edge right there. Okay, I'll make a copy of this one. And we'll bring it down into the earth texture, and one more here. This one is going to say pier at column beyond. Right, and that one will bring it back to the hidden line. And this one here, I'm going to move this one up just a little bit. This one is going to say footing at column beyond. We'll point to the hidden line. And bring this one out straight. One more note we'll add. And we can put that right below the gypsum wallboard column enclosure. We'll call it CMU pier or column. We can call it a column beyond. And we'll point to that hidden line. Okay. So that's it for that one. If we go to our sheet, you know, the reason we don't need to notate all of these things is because they're already picked up in the wall section. So we're just showing things. So I'm going to get rid of that guideline that's there, and that this part of the drawing will be done. Go back to that sheet. Okay, there we go.